All right, let's get started here. Welcome, everybody. Good afternoon. This is the April meeting of League of Women Voters, Manatee County Natural Resources Action Team. I'm Randy Miller. Those of you who don't know me, I'm the current chair. This meeting is open to all, and if you're not a member of the League for 2025, you're encouraged to learn more about the chapter on its website at lwvmanatee.org, where the league has very kindly placed a link providing you the opportunity to join if you wish. At the conclusion of the presentation and the question and answer period today, there'll be a short meeting for members of the team focusing on upcoming programs as well as several natural resource related Florida legislative matters. Today's program is entitled Solar Energy on Florida's Gulf Coast. Presenting is Julia Herbst of Solar United Neighbors, SUN, SUN. She is the Gulf Coast Program Associate. She'll offer information on solar-related legislative initiatives, provide information about Switch Together, a group purchasing program for solar PV technology, battery storage, and home EV charging. Switch Together provides a simple solution to start using renewable energy and ensure a home or business owner will receive a good product at an excellent price through group buying. It provides a streamlined process, offers access to pro bono consultations through their help desk, as well as educational events and opportunities. Any questions you have, please put them in the chat, and we will, after the presentation, pose those to Julia. Julia's passion for solar began during her AmeriCorps service with water and land restoration projects in Pennsylvania's coal mining regions. After earning a Master of Landscape Architecture degree from Rhode Island School of Design, she learned from Frostburg University's Wind and Solar Energy Program, Pinellas Water Stewards Florida Master Naturalist courses, and achieved a Forest Therapy Guide certification. She champions the power of education and brave creativity in making environmental change. Um, Julia's been well known to the Manatee County League for quite some time, back in 2018, and I think it was in 2021. The League of Women Voters of Manatee County formed a solar co-op with the guidance, training, and assistance of Julia and SUN. Approximately 100 homes painlessly purchased PV solar for their homes through these co-ops, including Alice Newland. So with that, Julia, I will turn it over to you and look forward to hearing what you got to say.
Well, thank you. Hello, everybody. It's nice to be back, and it seems like a little lapse since we've really connected. Thank you for that great introduction. I feel like you explained a lot of it. So, like I said, I'm the program associate covering the Gulf Coast for Solar United Neighbors, which is about um, probably from about like Marco Island and up through the Panhandle. So been here about 7 years with the organization. So I do have a slideshow to share, and we'll just get started with that. Give me a little bit to share my screen. I am actually here um, sharing for my colleague Mia. Mia Brady is who's running the Switch program and a lot of our group programs. Okay.
Oh, good.
Can everybody see that okay?
Yep, looks good.
Okay, so I hope you see some familiar faces here. We're going to talk about just really get you up to date on Sun, in case you don't know who we are, and the relationship with the League and Manatee region. A little bit about our programs generally, and a little bit about like an update like that. But I really want to focus on the Switch Together program because it's the most timely. So if you're not familiar, I don't know if you want to give me a little real hands up or anything like that. Does anyone know about Sun? Does everyone know about Sun? I'm not going to like gauge how
You should
general.
probably give some background, I think.
I'll just do the brief. So, Solar United Neighbors, we are a 501(c)(3). So, we're a nonprofit organization. We're vendor neutral. We don't make any recommendations, but we're really grounded in education, consumer protection, and advocacy around distributed or locally owned solar power. We have a very simple theory of change. We help people go solar, join together, and fight for energy rights. We're really an energy democracy organization because we really see a new energy system that's based on solar power, where the benefits go directly back to the community and the control is in the community, locally owned and managed. Um, so, how we've connected with the Manatee really grew out from our early days. We are a national nonprofit, so we help people all over the nation. We are a distributed team, which means we have some field staff focused in about 10 states, the District of Columbia, and Puerto Rico. So, Florida is a really big, active state, being the Sunshine State. There's a lot of people moving to Florida, and our program that we grew out of the one in DC that grew really came to be in around 2015 in the St. Petersburg area. And shortly after 2018, we really got active with the Manatee. We had an original agreement with the League of Women Voters statewide, the Florida team. And so we worked with their little chapters on our group program that was called the Co-ops. So that Go Solar, we have worked with your chapter on those group buy programs. So our solar co-ops are switched together. We help nonprofits. So that first picture is from Helen Anderson. She's in Paris. So she went solar with the 2021 co-op and has battery backup. She's in Peace River Utility. So those batteries are really important because of their rates and their net metering. Join together. So that's another part of our mission. Manatee has been fantastic with getting us media stories, solar socials, finding sites for our Solar 101 education sessions, tabling at festivals. So that middle picture is from the launch of the first co-op in Manatee in 2018, which is a huge success and really anchored our powerhouse working together. And that fight for energy rights, energy democracy. Whether it's the fight for net metering, the Florida legislature passed, both houses of Florida legislature passed a bill that was going to end net metering, which is a real system of giving us fair value for electricity that we generate. The picture on the right is Lynn Nilsson and some others that went to Representative Buchanan's office when the investment tax credit, a really important tax credit, was under threat. That was renewed. The net metering bill was vetoed by the governor. So we've had really great success with your help. Coming up right now, I do want to mention this. I can follow up and get you information. Utility accountability is something we really do. So most of you, I imagine, are in Florida Power and Light utility. So Florida Power and Light has filed their application for rate hearings with the Public Service Commission, that's the regulatory board. Record high rate increases, some of the largest in the nation. So, accountability, these rate hearings, they go before the Public Service Commission and they need to hear from the ratepayers. They need to hear from their customers and hold them accountable for this, drastic rate increase that, everyone's already burdened with huge electricity bills. And the reason that's important is almost always included in these are solar policies and solar rights. So we want to stay on top of that. The hearings are now been defined, their locations and their times and their dates. So we would love to work with your league in getting people out to come and represent themselves and speak at the hearings. And we'll have training sessions and everything. So that's on your radar, and I can follow up with all that kind of information. So tonight we're just going to quickly be talking about local solar. So just want to set the scene here. We're talking about privately owned solar. We're not talking about utility solar. So this is privately owned renewable energy. This is an appliance that you put on your roof. You invest in your own money to allow the solar system to generate electricity to offset your electricity bill. And solar benefits everyone, whether you're a solar owner or not. So for the owner, it obviously isolates you from spikes in energy costs, lower costs for everyone though, because It's breaking down this need for a large, bulky, centralized generation system and all the upgrades that come with having a plant far away and moving electricity far distances. It actually creates electricity and shares it with the grid at times when there's most demand and there's, a lot of pressure on an August at 4 o'clock in the afternoon for that utility to keep up with demand. So it makes our energy system more secure, more resilient, more responsive and reliable. We all know using solar, harvesting a local fuel source with local jobs is great at reducing pollution. So it's not extractive, it's not creating air, soil, using up lots of water. So it's excellent for the environment, offsetting greenhouse gases and reducing pollution. And then we just know that this is investing in our local jobs, the amount of dollars that go into our community, as well as the bill savings that allow families to put their money in other investments of education or securing their home or helping a nonprofit. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about net metered, grid tied solar systems. So electricity, solar system works. There's panels. That's what you're familiar with. They capture the sun's energy. They convert it into DC current, direct current. You have equipment that transfers that into AC current, so your home appliances can use it. This is basically offsetting the electricity you need to purchase from the grid, and the times you make electricity doesn't always match up when you use electricity. So any excess goes through a bidirectional meter and is shared with the grid and goes to your neighbors, and the utility charges the neighbor the full price for that electricity that you contributed. At the time you're getting a credit for that, so depending on your utility, if you're at the monopoly utilities like Duke or FPL, you're going to get a one-to-one kilowatt hour credit for it. So that just hangs out in your electric bill bank for when your system isn't creating anything. Those accumulate and roll over month to month. So basically, net metering allows you to use the electricity you created when you need it. So it's a back and forth, seamless system, tried and true, and extremely highly regulated. So very safe. That's the kind of systems we're talking about when we're talking about solar. So how does sun help folks? We help all kinds of people, whether they're homes, businesses, whether they're a farm, whether they're a nonprofit, whether they're a municipality or a school. So these are just some of our programs, and then we'll focus on Switch. So we have really expanded a national help desk. This is a solar help desk. It's free. We are not trying to sell you anything. So if you are trying to go solar, we have solar guides. We have questions specific to your state we can help you with. You can get a free roof review. You can schedule a call. We can review proposals. So if you go out and you're not in one of the group time periods, or you have family in another state, they're shopping around, they get 3 proposals, you can come to us and have us look that over. We'll look at what's different across them, questions you should ask your contractor. Also, you can make an informed decision. Um, and we also help people who've already gone solar. Maybe they're having trouble reading their electric bill, or their installer's gone out of business and they have an inverter down. So this is all here as a free resource for you. So please spread the word. This is the easiest way for folks who aren't connected with a sun group. We also have a new program now that's called Ready, Set, Solar. We have this for 3 groups. So we have this for nonprofits. We have this called REAP for rural businesses and farms, and we do have a residential one. Basically, this is like solar school for yourself. It's little components of bite-sized email content, so you can do it at your own pace. There is a little listserv, like a group that you can connect with other folks. You have access to our help desk, so you're going to do the searching all on your own with our tidbits. And you can run that by us as well. You'll get a little bit more hand-holding in Florida when you join one of our Ready Set Solar programs. But the reason we're focusing on nonprofits is because the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022 added some extra incentives from the tax credit. So a tax-exempt entity could never benefit from a tax credit. They don't pay taxes. So what happened with the Inflation Reduction Act, it allowed tax exempt entities to apply to receive that as a rebate, as a direct payment. So it's a game changer for nonprofits. That's 30% off the price of their solar or battery storage and all supporting electrical modifications. Um, it's still very new. It's still very complicated. The timing and the pre-registration and interfacing with the IRS is very complicated. So we're here to help walk you through that. Obviously, it's even more complicated with the scenario and the current administration, and that's why we want you to make informed decision because this is like churches, schools, cities, municipal installations. We really want to help those people save money, and then they can put those savings into their critical community mission. REAP, we keep that. That's Rural Energy for America program. It's a USDA program, and this is targeted at any agriculture business, any farm, and also rural businesses. So it's a USDA category. Think of rural population wise. Um, Businesses in that area are eligible to apply for a REAP grant to help fund their solar installation and other renewable energy credits. We obviously focus on solar electric. So the grant is an interesting process. We have a great guide. We can help you through that process and connect you with some experts and the timing of that. So these programs are sort of self-paced and really easy to join that. And I have that picture of the Manatee School for the Arts. I just wanted to, let you know that this is really happening in your area. So this is a huge program that's going to solarize the School for the Arts. It's in Palmetto. This is 3,000 panels, a $4 million job. It's going to offset about 90% of their expenses, which they say their electricity and utility expenses will be about 270,000 last year. Um, so this is really a game changer for them to be able to get a 30% back on that project. So I think it's in design and permitting right now. But big stuff going on in Manatee. We're also doing some pilots, so some churches that are trying to take advantage of that have worked with their own community partners. Mount Zion United Methodist Church, um, I forgot to change the title of that, is working with Revolve. It's a financing option for nonprofits and focusing on churches. Their local Sierra Club, Suncoast Sierra Club, has done a lot of energy efficiencies with them and has worked to swap them out and worked to get proposals for them. And we are just performing a platform for them to have donations made. So it's locally led. The church is actually real community solar. There's community oriented. They're actually a school for dyslexia. They support lots of other safe places and lots of other programs. They've been around since 1990. So this is a real cornerstone of the Clearwater, Florida community. And we're just trying to make a platforms to help fund their solarization project. So we're doing things like that. Today, I'm going to talk about the biggest program that is our group program that's open to Manatee and actually 7 counties. So it's called Switch Together. This is the next generation of our solar co-ops you might be familiar with that Alice certainly and many of you went solar with. It's a program that's open now until Memorial Day. And the concept is getting people together to go solar with some great advantages to save time and to save money to get a valuable system. Okay, so just to explain in case you're still hanging on to the selection committees and how the last co-op programs work. So this is a group buying program. It's for solar PV, battery storage, if you're interested in EV options. It's for homeowners, small business owners. There's a little bit of a scale involved. And it's really just meant to save you time and money. If you were to go out on your own shopping, there's a lot of questions to ask. This is a good way to at least get one really solid, high quality proposal. It's very fast and it's very streamlined. So basically, we're working with a nonprofit partner called iChooser. I'll get to that in another slide. There's actually vetted installers already selected. They've been highly cleared and reviewed. There's kind of a reverse auction. So they're getting together, and our partner does huge financial quality reviews and vetting. And installers are selected so that they can offer a high quality product at a very good price, but not so low that it will, cause instability in their business. This iChooser is that for-profit entity that we've worked with. We've worked with them for years now, and especially in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, Colorado, Texas. So we're having them launching in almost all our Sun states. Really scaled it up. The key is the partnerships. So it's iChooser, Soul United Neighbors, local governments. So a key part of this is outreach that's actually from committed partners. So the city of Tampa, for instance, in this one is one of those committed partners, and it involves a mailer. And then community partners like the League of Women Voters can be a community partner who's going to share this information with their community as a trusted face. So the partnerships, Soul United Neighbors, we're long-term partners. We really want to scale this up instead of having maybe 50, maybe 150 people join a co-op and a certain percentage of them sign a contract. We're talking hundreds of people are joining a switch program. It's a lot faster and a lot more streamlined, so we don't get the highest percentage, but that scale helps a lot more people go solar soon. And that's what we need. Electricity bills are rising, incentives are being threatened, and the temperatures are just going up. So we want to amplify solar adoption as soon as possible. So this really uses all those organizations' expertise for high quality results. We have a for-profit partner that's really skilled at marketing, statistics, reaching out, making materials, and vetting in solar installers, doing a lot of market research on pricing, scale, zip code search. Solar United Neighbors has our high quality expert education offerings, and the organizations, the municipal governments, have the familiarity and the trust building nature. So they have a direct mailing that we work with iChooser. There's online marketing campaigns. I don't know about you, but I'm seeing these ads in my Facebook feed. Maybe they know because I'm solar installer, but the second you start on that, you will be getting switch ads. And so together we add Solar Switch, which is now called Switch Together. Got to update that slide too. So why go solar with Switch Together? It's voluntary. It's a buying group. So there's no obligation. Just like our co-ops, it's free to join. It's no obligation. You'll get a streamlined proposal very soon to consider. And we're getting really good value. So we're seeing almost 20% saving off of average market rate. You get the tools on how do I make a decision. You have access to us to ask questions. You will connect you with other people going solar in your neighborhood. And then we also can capture you and offer education and help get you involved to protect your investment. So we see all these benefits. Price, we're getting lower pricing, 15 to 20%. It looks like in this co-op, it's on the upper end of that, on the average kilowatt size. You get a trusted installer. There's high quality, they've been vetted, they've been taking care of all the research. There's customer support along the whole process, so you won't be left hanging. And there's the guarantee that this government assurance is really helpful to say this isn't a scam. This isn't like a door-to-door program that I can't follow through with. These aren't sales agents signing contracts with a separate contractor. The process is similar. It's even more streamlined though. So you can go to our website if you're interested in going solar. You'd fill out a registration form. So it's basic information. The more information you can plug into that, like especially if you can get your electricity usage off the last year. If you can't, they'll fine tune it later. What kind of things if you're having an EV added that you think that's on your horizon, give as much information, how old your roof is. And this will already have our installers selected, and you will immediately get a personal recommendation proposal. So it will already come with the installer, the price, the sizing, and the equipment. So you can take your time, review that, make a decision, ask some questions of us. So that's right away. So you can begin to get in the ballpark. It's not your design, it's not your final engineering product. If you decide to go forward with that proposal, you put a $150 deposit down. This is completely refundable if you don't move forward, if you don't go solar. You get the money back if you, as you're signing a contract, and when your job is complete, you'll get that deposit back. This is simply to make the scale work so an installer knows that you're serious about moving forward before they spend time on design and consultation. And then you would move forward. And it's just like any other solar installation, if you decide to move forward and sign a contract, you'll get a custom consultation. They'll fine tune your design. You will get a solar assessment of your roof. They'll actually look at your roof and make sure it's in good condition. They'll check the timing, and then they'll get actual engineering drawings. They'll go through permitting. You'll have an installation date. After installation is inspection. And then after that, it'll be interconnection with the utility. And so us and mostly the installer walks you through that whole process. And the price of your proposal covers the whole package deal until you're interconnected and getting credit for your electricity. Timeline, we launched in mid-March. So we can think about like this is the pre-hurricane rush to get in on the program. The deadline is May 28th. So don't wait. If you're not sure and you need a new roof, just sign up anyway. It's like no risk. And then we do have deadlines and benchmarks with our installers so that they can't be sitting on this. If you need to make decisions, if they have some incentive to finish, all our installation deadline is early February next year. And that's a very typical, just so things aren't going to be dragging onward. This is a little example of your personal offer, your recommendation that you might get. So you can open it up and look at all the products. You can look at the price. I did this as a test for me. I have solar on my roof. I recently removed my solar and got a new roof and put it back on because I know to write that into my contract. And so I just estimated because I don't use any electricity. It covers all my electricity needs. But gosh darn it, Duke has a minimum bill that just tripled in 2022. So I know what size I have on my roof, and I just did a little check and estimated what my annual kilowatt hours would be without solar. I upped it just a little bit because I'm using a little bit more as I'm getting older and it's getting hotter. And this response was exactly the size I need. So it's, pretty accurate. And this is just the first cookie cutter response based on your inputs. So I was impressed with it. So far in Florida, we're just starting this program in Florida. Mia Brady's leading on it. We started in our Central Florida, Orange County, Orlando. Those are our municipal partners. So we got a lot of great targeted mailers out. We had almost 1,500 registrations, so signups. We had 360 people accept their offer. These might be a little old, they might be higher, and 112 contracts signed. So you can see the scale is up. If you're familiar with our solar co-ops, we might get 100 people signed. Manatee, you guys are crazy. We had a lot of big co-ops there. But if we had 100 people sign up, if we had 25% people actually go solar, which is really high now with interest rates, we'd have 25 people going solar. And that was on the high end. So this is much more impact that we're seeing and helping more people. Gulf Coast campaign, this covers 7 counties. So Sarasota, Manatee, Pinellas, Hillsborough, Polk, Pasco, and Hernando. So if you know anyone in that area, go ahead and blast it out to them. Focus on Manatee County right now. The formal partners are the City of Tampa, City of Clearwater, City of Largo. So they're the ones that we are seeing the difference that commitment from the municipality makes in signups. I just did a Solar 101 in Largo at the library, and everyone came in there with their Clearwater or their Largo letter. That's how they found us. These are not people who are familiar with Sun. So if for second rounds, if you guys can connect us and work your magic with your Bradenton or your county officials to educate them, and we'd love to reach out and get that going for the next time when we come back. But you guys can be a supporting partner. So City of St. Petersburg, our Sierra Club folks, Sarasota is on board and doing the sharing with our Solar 101s. I will be at Earth Day, Sarasota by the Bay on Saturday the 26th. It's like 11 to 1. So if anyone wants to stop by and talk and get, materials, it's not too far from you. So please come by. So far in Gulf Coast Switch, we have 422 registrations and 69 paid deposits. So we'll see how that grows. So we got a little over a month left. So what's next? What would I ask of you? Join the co-op. If you know anyone that's interested right now, go ahead and join it. So switchtogether.com/Gulf Coast is the site. We've already sent a sharing kit. I can send another one. We can send you flyers, little Facebook ads, share that website. We have QR codes on some of our graphics. Tell your friends and neighbors about it. A lot of people, I know it's like a nightmare to venture into Nextdoor, but that's where a lot of people find out about things. You know how your community learns about you. Do you have a newsletter? Do you have festivals coming up that we can send things to? So, whether it's social media or newsletters or paper flyers or ads in your library, there's digital labs. Let us know how we can support you in spreading the word. Please join an event. I know you guys don't have a live in-person one. Um, and if you could, we have like a happy hour coming up on May 7th. Next Thursday, we're having a latte and learn if you want to come up to St. Pete and have coffee with us. That's a really fun one too. I don't know if I got the time, uh, but I am on my last slide. So reach out. Florida team at solarunitedneighbors.org is the best way to reach us, and love to host some questions if you have anything for me.
Okay. Well, thank you. That's terrific. We do have some questions came in on chat, and I think one of them that came in you just answered about how do you get started, or where do you get started. So we've got the addresses on there. So let's see. We got a few here. What does it mean to be a supporting partner? What's involved in that?
Right. Um, Mia Bradley would be the best person to give you the details, but we're looking for supporting partners as far as the clubs and the leagues. You certainly would just connect with her. I don't know if it's a level like our co-ops. We used to have permission and use your logo. So if you wanted to help share the word, you can connect. I would email Mia at the Florida team, and she can basically get you started with toolkits.
Okay.
If you're close enough, I might be able to we don't really have switch signs, but I could drop off on my way next Saturday. We have just some like pens and sign-in sheets and materials that I can help stock you guys up.
Okay. Before the next question, just a comment. April 26th, both coincidentally, it's a big day. Both the Manatee League of Women Voters and Sarasota are having their annual meetings that day at the same time as as you're going to be in Sarasota. So
Okay.
you may not get many of us there. We'll be
Well,
otherwise
that's
busy.
okay.
Yeah.
Send the kids off there and you can share this, the
Yeah.
side
Yeah.
table in the back.
Do you know what the current tax credit percentage is for individuals?
Yes, it's 30%. The investment tax credit is 30%. It is not a rebate or a deduction. It is a credit. So you have to make sure you have a tax liability. So we want to be clear if some people have weird income or they're, older and they don't have that kind of taxable income, or they're low income, so they don't pay taxes. If you cannot take the tax credit in 1 year, it can roll over indefinitely until you use it all up in multiple years.
Terrific. Um, if a nonprofit wants to explore solar, who should they contact? The same links that you put up on the screen already?
Yeah, you should get to Florida team at solarunitedneighbors.org, or you can reach us at solarunitedneighbors.org RSS, Ready Set Solar, nonprofits. You can just go to solarunitedneighbors.org and there's a big button for nonprofits. So it'll take you there to our resources. It will take you to the Ready Set Solar program if you're interested in that. And then I'll get it a little alert that I check. And if there's any Florida folks, I capture and reach out directly.
All right. Um,
If you're, I just one more thing. If you're interested in a nonprofit, you need to work fast because if stuff might go away. So we want to help you streamline that and see if you can get your solar installed this year.
yeah, yeah, makes sense. Understandable. So some insurance companies are dropping homes or turning insurance down if a residence has solar panels. Do you know anything about that? Have you run into that?
Yeah, it's not a problem anymore. So in the past, it is illegal for an insurance company to drop you for installing solar or for net metering. We did see a lot of pushback in that some were saying they were dropping you for solar. Obviously, um, definitely get everything in writing. We need to have that interest. We're here to support you with language. We actually have a really good one-page frequently asked questions. There had been a company that was denying, they said, oh, we're fine with solar coverage, but it's not with net metering. And net metering is a statute is required by Florida state statute to allow you to net metering. So we worked with our coalitions and our partners, and they now cover net metered solar systems. So there isn't any company that this is an issue with.
Good. Okay.
Now, people might get their rates increased, but that is a broader part of the homeowner's insurance crisis. So, and anytime anyone calls their insurance company, they should be braced for a raise.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. The first question was asked, working my way up. Because of the variability of solar energy, it is attacked by electric companies and conservative talking heads. One recently stated that Europe was abandoning solar, which appears totally incorrect. Have you heard anything about that, and how would you
Could you
counter
repeat
that?
the beginning? Variability?
Yeah. Um, because of the variability of solar energy, it is attacked by electric companies and conservative talking heads. One recently stated Europe was abandoning solar, which appears totally incorrect. Have you run into this before? And if so, how would you counter that?
Um, We haven't, as a general like fact or messaging, there have been attacks to solar energy from, monopoly utilities or from certain pieces of legislation. Um, but the very like solar is the least expensive form of creating electricity, and it is the most predictable. So it's wonderful to have a fuel that we know is up in the sky, and we can predict the patterns. So we don't have the fuel variability, the pricing, the demand of using coal or natural or methane gas. So it's really predictable that way, especially when paired with solar storage. So it's a very stable and very affordable way to make electricity. So the utilities are choosing that on a large scale, and so are residents because of the price lowering. So it's an economically stable um, technology. We don't see any slowing of adoption in Florida.
Okay, all right. Um, Somebody asked, are boats included? Solar on your boat.
Oh, you know what? We had someone from Tampa Sierra Club who actually had a solar powered boat. So he's wind and solar, um, more of his accessories. No, boats are not included. So these group programs are really for structures, rooftop solar, or a ground mount. Ground mounts are great options if you have the room. I'm sorry, but we would love to connect you with some of our listserv and our DIYers. And I've had this question before, and we would love to see your solar boat. We could have a solar celebration on your boat.
There you go. Okay, there you go. Um, let's see. Are utilities paying homeowners for installing solar?
No, you get a lot. I get a lot of those ads. So if
Yeah.
it's no cost and the utility's paying for you, It's too good to be true. It is
Okay.
too good to be true.
Right. The last one I got here at the moment. So the cities that are supporting partners, what is it they're actually doing?
They are they're just sharing through their own marketing, but it's an agreement. It's a MOU, a memorandum of agreement with Sun and iChooser to send out a mailer. It's a specifically targeted mailer to, they do the research on which homes will receive it, and it has the city or county's logo. And so it looks like it's coming from us and them. So they're committing to have this offering sent to individuals in their county or city.
Okay.
Like
All right.
City of Tampa did a great interview on Fox News, a TV interview that was really helpful. And there's letters that go out to homeowners, so it's a backing of trust that people will recognize.
Okay. And is there one of those mailers that you could send to us just to see
I
what it
can
looks
ask
like?
Mia to send so she could share a sample.
All right.
Yeah.
That'd be helpful. All right. I know that recently I tried to get Mia in touch with the city of Bradenton. I don't know whether they ever connected or not, but I know she reached out to them. That may be as far as it went. Um,
Well,
okay.
thank you for all this networking. I think the same with the co-ops. There's so much volatility going on. There's so much, just to recognize the challenge of what's happening in this country. This is like a technology that's really straightforward. And these are projects that are really positive. This is good economy that's going to help families save money. So it's a really like a pet project. You're not fighting against something. You're really being proactive. It is not complicated to share this word, and this part is not under threat. We're going to help people go solar, get a hold on their energy bills, where their energy is coming from, and what it's doing to their pocketbooks.
And do you happen to know if the current, it changes daily, but the current tariff situation is going to impact the products that are coming in?
Yeah, we're getting a lot of this and we're working with our iChooser partners. The price is fixed for the time period of this, there's short time periods. The price is a little different if, the size, if you have a really small size, there's usually more per watt. And the equipment is has already been secured. So we don't see volatility, but if we do, we'll make sure that the substitutions are clearly clarified. We don't see problems right now, especially for this program. We do know that there will be an impact over the
Another
industry.
reason to move quick if you're going to do it, huh?
Right,
Okay.
exactly.
Any other questions? Yeah.
I've got a
Don, go,
question.
go ahead, Don.
This is I used to work at FP&L years and years ago, but am I right that the utilities are legally required to be able to provide all the electricity that say Florida needs and new construction into the future? They have to be able to supply that. They're required by law to build the plants to supply the infrastructure to do that.
I don't know enough about the rate requirements for the general population and what they have to provide for all the ratepayers. I know that's a big part of their rate calculations, meeting the demand of a growing population in a
I mean
key area.
by not the rates, but the capacity to supply the electricity. So that was my understanding about the
Ra-
utility.
Rates are how they build the generation plants and all the brick and mortar and the
Well,
capital to
the
provide
new
that.
plants are in the billions.
Mhm.
So for them to put a little money toward putting solar on people's roofs, there's a lot of calculations, but they could put money to put panels on people's houses without having people incur 30, 40, 50, $70,000 worth of cost. They could do that because based out of the requirement. So I didn't know if you were familiar with that requirement to them or I'm even right about that. So sorry.
I don't know about the requirements and how they have to calculate to meet that demand. Um, and putting it on individuals' roofs, that's not on the That's not on the horizon right now.
Okay.
Way on the horizon. Thank you.
Okay, Don, thanks.
Thanks.
Um, okay, and somebody just put something in. What is the average cost, if there is such a thing, of a home solar PV system right now?
Yeah, solar, there's no one size fits all, so it's easiest to talk about solar and cost by watt. So, every home varies. I keep my air conditioning at 80 degrees. I'm a weirdo. Most people that keep it cooler, or they have a bigger home, or they have a lot of families, or they're charging their electric vehicle. So it's really looking at your electricity usage. Um, you are welcome to go to any of our websites, our switch page, our co-op pages, and see a chart that has different sizes and average prices. The average home that we're seeing in our roof programs used to be 9 kilowatts. It's now about 10.6 for this Gulf Coast is what they average most homes, the average size of a system. And we use in our teaching, in our education sessions, about 249 per watt cash. So a kilowatt equals 1,000 watts. Now that is cash, and that's Florida, and that's co-op. Our co-ops have been lower per watt recently, and solar switch is on the average sized home is much lower than that per watt. So you have to do the math, and then you can check out any of our solar 101s to see how that pays off over time. So it's the cost of the system to be installed. Then you factor in the 30% income tax credit, and then you factor in how many years of savings. So systems last 25 and more years. So what is the savings, tax-free savings, by offsetting your electricity bill mean to you?
Yeah.
We generally see people paying off their systems in 7 to 12 or 13 years. It depends on your usage. It depends on if you're financing your system.
Okay, all right, great. Well, I got just one more quick question. I think you already sort of addressed it, but somebody just asked whether solar parts are being manufactured in the US.
Some are like solar panels. There are a lot that are manufactured or assembled. There still is, there's a portion of the Inflation Reduction Act in solar incentives, particularly on commercial, so your churches and your businesses. Um, that is an extra credit for domestic content. That is still extremely hard to find a full panel, which is called a module, that extremely like rare to comply with that Build America, Buy America domestic, content where everything, the steel, every component is from America. They exist, they're very expensive. Inverters are starting to be American. Yeah, we're really making that way. It's cool if you want to go to the Jinko factory in Jacksonville. We're getting the Hanwha factories. There used to be, they're really growing, particularly in the southeast.
Good. Okay. All right. Well, that's it for questions. Julie,
I
this is
think John
terrific.
Durbeck had a question, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, missed it. Go ahead.
I'm just a little curious about how much, I guess, construction you can do. I know people who have lost pool cages and might want to put solar on that. We considered that at one time, but ours isn't strong enough. Carports, that kind of thing, or is that's beyond what you're working with?
We don't make those decisions. Generally, it has to be structurally sound and meet all the wind codes. So, manufactured home, mobile homes, you can be constructing carports. It's really common. We have a couple good pictures of that where they've constructed it. So it
Mhm.
has to comply with all the structures and how it's anchored and all wind lift and things like that. So your installers will be able to give you a typical feedback on. We're not doing any cute like pilot things like on vertical surfaces or condo railings, unfortunately.
All right. Okay. Well, thanks again, Julie. This is terrific. Some good discussion, some good questions, and we'll see where we go with all this. But I encourage folks to spread the word. This is being recorded, so